Thank you for joining us now. And here are some of the stories we're filing at this time. I am Frank Omalape. Now, Nigeria's Ministry of Power, the European Union, and the German government have raised concerns about the rate of electrification in Nigeria, calling for improvement. The International Renewable Energy Agency had said that the number of Nigerians without access to grid electricity has risen by 5.8% to 90 million at the end of 2021. The stakeholders at the launch of the Nigeria SE for All 3 version platform, which aims at improving electrification planning using the mini-grid supply, noted that data remained key to improving electricity access in the country. Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said the development marked a milestone as it aimed to offer more accurate data that will assist Nigerians to develop a more robust business case in its effort to invest in the power sector. Aliyu said Nigeria's SE for All, a central data management portal, will provide work-based data to assist utility operators, regulators, policymakers, as well as critical stakeholders to plan and implement electrification. Away from there now, the federal government has disclosed that the current restructuring of indebted discos will not affect service delivery to Nigerians. This was disclosed by Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, in a statement in Abuja on Wednesday. The minister also noted that the changes will also not affect the rollout of the National Mass Metering Program. The minister said the changes announced in the governance of the discos were as a result of the receivership of the core investors in Kano, Bini, Kaduna, and Ibadan discos, resulting in a change of management. Aliyu said, whereas the actions in Port Harcourt disco are sought to provide much-needed liquidity and prevent the insolvency and risk of collapse of the utility in implementing the changes, it is therefore expected that clear timelines for the exit of the banks will be prescribed by the regulators as and when appropriate. In the meantime, Nigeria's electricity supply rose by 7.11% to 85,874.18 megawatts hours on Wednesday, representing the highest electricity supply in over 1 month. This is according to information from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The increase is following a 6.96% energy generation from 81,310.5 megawatt hour recorded on Tuesday to 86,967.76 megawatt hour on Wednesday. Similarly, peak generation increased by 1.96% to 3,800.6 megawatt, while off-peak generation stood at 3,457.5 megawatt, representing a 9.47% rise compared to the previous day. Despite the increase, electricity generation and supply in Nigeria are still crippling below the minimum 105,000 megawatt hour of electricity required to record a stable power supply in the country. And now the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Consumer FCCPC has restated its commitment to punish offenders, especially operators that fail to comply with extant rules and regulations in the electricity industry without further delay. It observed that over the years, non-compliance with the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) orders, code, regulations, and standard of performance remains the bane of the industry. The Commission urged discos to show more commitment to compliance with NEC regulations. According to the Commission, the move to punish offenders has become inevitable, given consumers growing complaints of estimated billings, poor metering, wrong connections, and illegal disconnection, among others, that have denied them enjoying regular power supply. The FCCPC Executive Vice Chairman Babatunde Irukera gave the warning on Wednesday at the one-day electricity consumer complaint resolution platform held in Mararaba, Nasarawa State. Irukera observed that though the Commission had been working with NEC on some policies and regulations to assuage the challenges and pains being experienced by consumers, one of the such measures is the capping of estimated bills. And now, some filling stations on Wednesday dispensed premium motor spares, popularly called petrol, at over 175 naira per litre, higher than the government-approved 165 naira per litre price, as oil marketers insisted to embark on strike from next week if the government fails to pay. It was gathered that some outlets in Lagos sold the commodity at 169 naira per litre last week, but adjusted their pumps on Wednesday to 175 naira per litre. Also, queues by motorists at filling stations, which had persisted in Abuja and environs since February this year, gradually surfaced in part of Lagos Wednesday. Correspondent also observed that many filling stations, particularly those belonging to members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, were shut due to a lack of product to sell to customers. Amidst these concerns, oil marketers under the aegis of Abuja Suleja Ipman stated on Wednesday that their proposed strike will go ahead next week if the government fails to substantially clear the breaching claims for transportation of petrol being owed marketers. Last week, oil marketers warned that Nigeria could witness the mother of all kills soon if the federal government fails to pay the 12-month breaching claims being owed operators in the downstream oil sector. And in the meantime, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, has said the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, has introduced incentives to grow reserves. The Commission also said the act aimed to increase the country's daily production toward attaining 40 billion barrels and 220 cubic feet of oil and gas reserves. It said incentives will also enable the country to attain a production target of 3 million barrels per day. The Commission's Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, spoke on Wednesday in Abuja at the 21st Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition. Komolafe spoke on providing regulatory oversight in the Petroleum Industry Act era. He said Nigerians craved a legal regulatory framework for the industry robust enough to regulate the sector for optimum productivity and efficiency. He said it provided for administrative and institutional governance, attractive fiscal regimes, mechanisms for an improved environment, and peaceful coexistence between operators and host communities. According to him, the Act empowers the Commission on technical and commercial regulation of the upstream petroleum activities in a manner to ensure sustainable hydrocarbon exploration and production at optimum cost. And now the need to cut down on Nigeria's high cost of governance, embrace local refining of petroleum products, create urgent solutions to vandalism and crude oil theft, as well as sustainable and diversified mass transportation system was part of the options canvassed by oil and gas experts yesterday in Abuja as leeway to the soaring prices of petroleum products and elusive state of the sector in the country. This is coming as long queues of motorists jostling for premium auto spares continuing in Abuja and other parts of the country amidst payment of subsidy now hovering around 6 trillion naira. Some of the experts who spoke at the Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference said the federal government must first work the talk by reducing cost of governance before asking the citizens to face hardship in moving the country forward, especially in the era of subsidy payment. They also insisted that the security situation in the country in terms of vandalism and theft remained a disincentive and in a situation that will continue to hurt the economy and deter the investment needed to address the challenges in the upstream and downstream sectors. Former chairman, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Tuju Yebanji, said the current architecture in the downstream sector wouldn't take the country anywhere, adding that the dependency on PMS is unacceptable. Oyebanji lamented that the decades of opportunities the country had were misused, adding that the country always failed to act until there is a huge deficit. He insisted that there must be urgent action instead of talking about sufficient local refining capacity.